Hi, I'm Haley. My dad always said I was just like him, determined, practical, and always 3 steps ahead. Guess that's why we worked so well together at the construction company he built from scratch. 20 years of blood and sweat, turning Anderson Construction into something real special. You're going to run this place someday, kiddo. That's what he'd tell me while showing me around job sites since I was 16. Now, at 28, I wish he was still here to see me try. Your father would be so proud of how you're handling everything. My Aunt Caroline squeezed my hand as we sat in the kitchen, going through memorial service details. Though I can't say the same about certain others. Did you see what Sandra did yesterday? Moved all Dad's awards from his office to the garage? I stirred my coffee, trying to keep my voice steady. Says they're cluttering up the space. That woman's been nothing but trouble since day one. Uncle James walked in, his contractor boots leaving dusty prints on the floor. Your dad was lonely after your mom passed, but marrying her 3 years ago was his biggest mistake. Remember when she tried convincing him to sell the company? My cousin Mike chimed in from where he was looking through old photos. Said it was too much stress for him. More like too much money not under her control. I couldn't help the bitterness in my voice. Now she's acting like she owns the place. Did you hear what she told the suppliers last week? Uncle James pulled up a chair. Tried to cancel our standing orders, saying the company was restructuring. Good thing Tom in accounting called me. She's getting bolder since Dad passed. The words felt heavy. 2 months. It had only been 2 months since the heart attack. That's why tomorrow's memorial service has me worried. Caroline pulled out her phone, showing me a message. She's invited people we've never even heard of. Like that friend of hers, Rachel. Suddenly, she's helping organize everything. Mike made air quotes. More like helping herself to information about the company. Just watch your back tomorrow, Haley. Uncle James's face was serious. Sandra's been asking weird questions about your dad's personal safe and some family jewelry. She cornered me yesterday about the garage code, Mike added. Said she needed to check some things in the storage area. Good thing Dad made me memorize where everything important is. I smiled slightly, remembering our late-night talks. And who has access to what? Smart man, your father. Caroline nodded. Always planning ahead. Speaking of planning, I pulled out the memorial service schedule. We need to finish these arrangements before Sandra tries to change everything again. Already got the photos and video tribute ready. Mike patted his laptop bag. Just like Uncle Rob would have wanted it. I looked around at my real family, the ones who'd been there through everything. Tomorrow would be rough, but at least I wasn't facing it alone. What I didn't know then was just how much I'd need them when Sandra decided to turn the memorial into her own personal stage. The memorial service was exactly what Dad would have wanted, until it wasn't. Everything was perfect. The photos, the flowers, people sharing memories. Then Sandra stood up, clutching her pearls like some dramatic soap opera star. Before we continue, there's something that needs to be addressed. Her voice echoed through our family room. Certain items of great value have gone missing since Robert's passing. My stomach dropped as she turned to face me directly. The family diamonds, Haley, your father's Rolex collection. The bearer bonds from the safe. Care to explain? What exactly are you implying? I kept my voice steady, feeling 50 pairs of eyes on me. Oh, don't play innocent. Rachel, Sandra's newfound bestie, piped up from the corner. We all know you had access to everything. This is absolutely ridiculous, Caroline shot up from her seat. My niece has been running that company while you've been redecorating the house. Then she won't mind explaining why she was in the home office at midnight last week. Sandra pulled out her phone. I have security footage. You mean when I was collecting the photos for today's memorial video? I gestured to the screen still showing Dad's life in pictures. The one you refused to help with? Convenient excuse. Rachel snickered. Just like how you conveniently changed the safe combination. I never changed any combination. My hands were shaking now, but not from fear. Dad gave me those codes years ago. See? Sandra turned to the crowd. She admits having access? Of course she had access. Uncle James stood up. She's been handling the business accounts since before you showed up. Cousin Mike jumped in. Yeah, where were you when Uncle Rob needed help with the company expansion 3 years ago? Oh, right. On your third vacation that year. This is not about me. Sandra's face turned red. This is about missing family heirlooms. Those heirlooms belong to Haley anyway. Caroline stepped between us. Her mother's jewelry collection was meant for her. Well, as Robert's widow. As his widow of 3 years versus his daughter of 28? Someone called from the back. I have documentation. Sandra pulled out some papers. Everything valuable is listed as marital property. Interesting timing for this discussion. I finally stood up, my voice cutting through the chaos. Using Dad's memorial to put on this show? How dare you accuse me of— No, how dare you? I met her gaze. Dad's not even cold in his grave, and you're already making grabby hands at everything he spent his life building. Haley, honey, calm down. Rachel tried to sound soothing. We're just concerned about preserving family assets. Family? I laughed. You met Dad twice, at the wedding and last Christmas when you tried to convince him to invest in your failed boutique. The room erupted in whispers. Sandra looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. This isn't over. You're right about that. I smiled slightly, thinking about the meeting scheduled for tomorrow. It's definitely not over. The law office felt different this morning. Thomas Anderson, no relation, just coincidence, had been Dad's lawyer for 20 years, and his smile told me everything I needed to know. Your father was quite thorough in his planning, especially after his diagnosis. Diagnosis? I leaned forward. What diagnosis? He knew his heart was failing 6 months ago. That's when he accelerated everything. Thomas spread out a stack of documents. Every asset, every account, every piece of jewelry, all documented and notarized. That sneaky old man, Uncle James chuckled. Always 3 steps ahead. Got something you might want to see? Mike pulled out his laptop. Security footage from the estate. Look who's been busy at 3 a.m. The screen showed Sandra and Rachel carrying boxes from Dad's study to a car. Date stamp, 2 days after he passed. There's more. Caroline pulled out her phone. Text messages Sandra sent to various suppliers trying to reroute company payments to a new account. Those payments would have bounced. I smirked. Dad changed all the authorization protocols last month. And this is interesting. Thomas pulled up another document. Sandra's previous marriages, 3 of them, all to wealthy businessmen, all ended within 4 years. Each time she contested the prenup, Caroline added. But your dad? He didn't just do a prenup, he did a postnup too. After that stunt she pulled trying to sell the company's main property, Uncle James nodded. Remember that casual dinner where she brought a real estate agent? Got the recordings of her phone calls with the bank too. Mike clicked another file. Trying to claim she was the new CEO. Bank manager called me immediately. The jewelry she claims is missing? Thomas pushed forward another paper. Your mother's collection was placed in a trust for you when you turned 25. Sandra has no claim to it. What about the Rolex collection she mentioned? Right here. Thomas patted a metal briefcase. Your father moved them to my office safe last month, along with the bearer bonds. So yesterday's show was a spectacular own goal. Caroline grinned. She basically announced her theft attempts to the whole family. Should have seen this coming. Uncle James shook his head. The way she kept asking about insurance policies and company succession plans. Oh, and this is golden. Mike turned his laptop around again. Security footage of her and Rachel in the garage, going through documentation. They didn't notice the new cameras Dad installed. Speaking of Rachel, Thomas pulled out another file. 3 fraud charges in Nevada. Different name, same game. So what's our next move? I looked at the evidence piled on the desk. Your father left specific instructions. Thomas smiled. Everything's ready for tomorrow morning's board meeting, complete with a police detective who's very interested in that security footage. Better call the locksmith. Uncle James checked his phone. Got him on standby to change all the codes. And I've got the company IT team ready. Mike closed his laptop. New passwords, new protocols, everything. Time to show Sandra what real family planning looks like. Caroline squeezed my hand. Your dad would be loving this. The boardroom was packed. Sandra waltzed in like she owned the place, Rachel trailing behind her. Their smug faces dropped when they saw Detective Morrison sitting next to Thomas. Before we begin, I'd like to report some missing... You mean these items? Thomas opened the briefcase, revealing Dad's Rolex collection. Or perhaps you meant these? He slid forward the documented trust papers for Mom's jewelry. Those were stolen. Sandra stumbled over her words. Really? Detective Morrison clicked a remote. The screen showed Sandra and Rachel loading boxes into a car. Mind explaining this? We were just moving things for safekeeping? Rachel jumped in. To a storage unit registered under a fake name? The detective raised an eyebrow. Same fake name linked to fraud charges in Nevada? Rachel's face went white. I can explain. Save it for your parole officer? Uncle James cut in. The one you've been dodging in Vegas? Sandra, you manipulated me. Rachel suddenly turned. You said this was just about securing your fair share. Shut up, you idiot, Sandra hissed. Your fair share was determined here. Thomas produced the post-nuptial agreement, which you signed after attempting to sell company property without authorization. The property sale that mysteriously fell through? Mike grinned. Yeah, that was me. Warned the buyers about pending litigation. You can't do this to me. Sandra stood up. I'm his widow. His fourth widow, actually. Caroline passed around copies of Sandra's previous marriage certificates. Quite a pattern you've got there. The estate's security codes have been changed. I finally spoke up. Your access to company accounts is revoked. The lock's at the house, too. You think you can just throw me out? Actually, yes. Thomas slid another document forward. The house was transferred to Haley 6 months ago. You're trespassing. Officers are waiting outside. Detective Morrison stood. They'll escort you to collect your personal belongings. Only your documented personal belongings. This isn't over. Sandra grabbed her bag. Oh, but it is. I held up my phone. Your little memorial meltdown? Cousin Mike live-streamed it to the entire extended family. Everyone saw you try to frame me. And everyone's seen the evidence now. Caroline pointed to her tablet, showing a family group chat exploding with reactions. Time to go, ladies. Detective Morrison motioned to the door. We have some questions about those missing company payments you tried to redirect. As they were let out, Rachel turned back. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. She promised me a cut if I helped discredit you. Save the apologies. Uncle James waved her off. The DA's office is more interested in your testimony. After they left, Thomas handed me Dad's signet ring. He wanted you to have this when it was done, said you'd know when to wear it. I slipped it on, a perfect fit. Looking around at my real family, Caroline, James, Mike, and the team that had stood by us, I knew Dad had built more than just a company. He'd built a fortress of loyalty that no gold digger could breach. What would you have done if you were Haley when Sandra publicly accused you of theft at your father's memorial service? Would you have kept your cool like she did? Or would you have exposed Sandra's schemes right there in front of everyone? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever dealt with someone who tried to destroy your reputation in front of family? How did you handle it? If you enjoyed this story of justice served cold, hit that like button to help others find it too. Subscribe for more revenge stories that show karma always comes back around. New stories every week about standing up to toxic people who never saw it coming. Remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't losing your cool. It's letting them dig their own grave while you hold the evidence.